And you are listening to another edition of Blewett Blitz. Haven't seen you guys in a little bit in terms of the film reviews. I am going to do my best. You can already probably hear my voice is a little bit gone, so I'm going to keep it a little bit more low to try to get the show out. It is Wednesday. It is 3 days after the Lambeau game. Voice is still gone. There's still construction going on in my house, so if you notice the mess behind me, and plus you hear some noise in the background. Floors are getting replaced, the walls are getting done, walls are getting knocked out, bunch of stuff going on. But like I said, if didn't record today, this show would probably be coming out on Saturday, and I'd rather get it out by Thursday. So you're gonna have to excuse the noise, maybe a little bit in the background. The main thing is you're gonna have to get over me losing my voice and clearing my throat and stuff like that, because unfortunately, a little bit of a psychopath at the games, so my voice is typically gone until about Thursday. So I'm going to push through. And with that being said, too, I'm going to keep it relatively condensed on some of these plays because I don't think I can make it for 3 hours talking. So um, I don't say that now and then it'll be 3 hours later. But I'm gonna do my absolute best because, like I said, at a certain point, I might not be able to talk quite literally. So with all that being said, obviously exciting week going into Lambeau. You know, you're hoping that the Jets just compete and to come out with a 27-10 victory. Um, Maybe you don't. I don't sound the most excited, but clearly I was. Standing on the bleachers doing Jets chants with other Jets fans. Blowing the Packers out. Obviously, the first half, some missed opportunities, but to end a game in Lambeau, winning by 3 scores, against a team that hasn't lost back-to-back games after the last 12 losses, the team who has won 15 in a row in 15 in a row at home. And then another interesting nugget, which I believe is from Samini, that the Jets are the second team in the Super Bowl era to have a winning record through 6 games while being an underdog in every single game. So they're doing something special. Hopefully they can continue it this week against the Broncos, which we'll talk about. Hopefully by the time you're listening to this, if I make it through this tonight in the live stream with Kyle Smith, Michael Mania, and I will discuss the Broncos game. Again, I apologize for the Wi-Fi last week. Something went wrong, and it's been a little bit sketchy since that I've been getting some work done, but that was an outage thing for Xfinity, not me. So hopefully the live stream goes well. So as you guys know, we start with the studs when the Jets win, and obviously we've been doing studs for quite a bit now. Obviously, I really wish I could have done the last couple of games with winning, the comeback victory against the Steelers, the blowout, the drubbing of the Miami Dolphins, who are the team I hate the most in the entire NFL. And obviously being back for this one is nice. But obviously Italy and all that stuff, life calls. So uh awesome week, obviously. Just really quickly, for the people who care, Bears game Thursday. Friday, hit a bunch of breweries with my buddies. Saturday, which I plan on sharing on the live stream, I went skydiving, which was incredible. And then obviously capping it off Sunday with the Jets victory is there's no better cherry on top because that was what the whole weekend was about. So um, awesome. And obviously, like I said, let's start off with the studs, and let me pull up the third stud of the game. I'm going to repeat some of the stuff I just said for the people who are just going to be clicking on to the free preview type deal. So excuse me while I repeat myself so I can avoid some comments about me talking low and all that stuff. But let me see here. Okay. All right. I got to organize my screen a little bit rusty here. All right. And the third stud of the game is one Mr. Quincy Williams, third stud of the game, 14 tackles, 8 solo. Really, really good in his return. A lot of people wanted Quan over him, and I was one of those ones in that boat, but I think he performed just as well. He seemed to, at least this year, limit some of the boomer bust plays. And to be completely frank, just a talent difference on the roster. this year versus last year is gonna cover up some mistakes from both the rush being very good and the corners being very good. The linebackers aren't going to look as necessarily bad in coverage as they did last year, so that is a part of it. But overall, minus him, there was one play he lined up in the wrong spot. He was late to get to his assignment, and AJ Dillon could have had an easy first down, 5, 10, 15 plus yards, but the ball was dropped, so we got lucky there. And then obviously another play on the show where he nearly got beat um, by Jones. And again, for the people who are just watching, who are not the subscribers, I kind of already recapped it. Today is Wednesday. My voice is still gone from the Packers game, so I'm gonna be talking a little bit low. It's not the lack of enthusiasm. I'm just literally trying to get the podcast out by tomorrow instead of Friday or Saturday. So if you think I don't sound enthused or something like that, it's because I can barely talk. Um, this is, and I obviously, again, I don't coordinate these plays to show the best, 3, 4 plays on YouTube so everybody get excited and throw likes. We just do it how it comes up. On this first play, Quincy was beat. And then this is the play that there's actually the penalty on the sideline, but he's lined up against Aaron Jones right here to the bottom of the screen. And again, that's something else I said before was I'm going to be relatively concise with these because I don't think I can get through a 3-hour podcast. So some of these are going to be pretty quick. So it is what it is. But watch them on the bottom. That's of course. All right. That's the time I was supposed to be waking up, but I woke up like 3 hours ago. So let's watch again. And it's really not even the worst play for Quincy. The one thing you want to see from him is him keeping his feet a little bit more active and getting more into a back pedal. But we're talking about corner type nitpickiness, versus him being a linebacker. But obviously, with a guy like Aaron Jones, when he's stepping to the inside like that, he most likely wants to get to the outside. And here, if we look at their relationship, if this ball was on target, he's probably beat for a touchdown, or if not a touchdown, at least a catch. And he as he gears down to catch the ball. If he has to, then Quincy would make the tackle, but still, it's still a big play. We also have Reed on the top, who I mentioned. He got beat here too. And again, this isn't like, oh, he's brutally beat, but at the end of the day, if Rodgers was to fit this ball into the sideline vertically, he is beaten. And why is he beaten? This is one of the problems. And listen, the Jets corners have been playing absolutely great. But I am a very nitpicky corner person. They're doing a lot of hopping at the snap right here. And him initially, I don't even love his stance. He's sitting a little bit more back on his heels than I initially like. And then off of the as the receiver stems towards him, we're seeing the hop back, and that hop back, obviously his feet are not coming into contact with the ground, or they're coming off the ground, which is not going to allow him to get his foot in the ground, turn, and run with the receiver if he is to get vertical. So we see the hop back from Reed, which gives the receiver a relatively clean release, and he's able to work him up the sideline. So we want to see more shuffles. We want to see more small steps at the line of scrimmage. That goes for both corners. Sauce has been playing great, but you can always improve. Revis in his prime can improve, but here he's legitimately beat deep. One stance, 2 hop. We have to eliminate the hops at the line of scrimmage. So the Jets got relatively lucky on this play that this was not completed and that was not completed. Again, not necessarily the easiest throw. It's not like he got burned, but in the NFL, that is a loss. And now in terms of the penalty, which if you watch right here, I believe it's this ref who calls it, but you have a Jets assistant coach who's standing in the white, which you're not allowed to do, which is just beyond stupid. That's at the end of the day, this was 3rd down and I don't know, 4 or 5, and you just gave Aaron Rodgers another shot with the ball, which this early in the game was very, very frustrating. We had no idea what went on, but this cannot happen. So the penalty was thrown and it was deserved. I'm not necessarily a person who could speak on how often assistant coaches are on the sideline, how often they don't call it, but nonetheless, it's something we can't be doing. So, but moving on to the next play of Quincy, which again, most of them are pretty positive. But the first one obviously was the one he nearly got beat. So this is a good play from Quincy in coverage. He is right here, and I believe he's in the curl to flat. And this is a cover 3 buzz, I believe. But let's watch Quincy right there. Yeah. So again, they're running 3 buzz. He buzzes down. basically into a hook zone, looking to eliminate any crossers. Um, and Quincy to me, and this is again, it looks small, but I really do like this coverage rep from Quincy. He's getting in the curl to flat. He's checking the number one. The number one continues vertical on this play, so he takes his attention away from that because obviously at that point Reed is going to match that, gets his eyes back inside, starts to match his other threat, his other most near threat to the curl to flat, starts to press towards this a little bit. Um, but with that being said, as he starts to press towards that a little bit, he has his eyes into the backfield, and picking up on what Rodgers is doing, what's happening in the pocket. He sees the movement in the pocket. He sees him getting pressured, rolling out to the right, or sorry, rolling out to the left, or at least pushing out to the left, and he starts to gear up to throw it to the flat. So he covers ground to make that tackle. There are plenty of guys here who in this scenario would not have the awareness that Quincy does, would match this. This would get completed, and then there would be yak because he didn't get to him quick enough and allowed this receiver to build up some momentum and break that tackle. But really good awareness again, getting underneath, matching, eyes into the backfield, seeing the balls being thrown there, closing ground. Oh, sorry, closing ground very, very quickly to this receiver and catching and making the tackle before he can really even make any type of football moves. So, and obviously he lays the wood continuously. So hell of a play by him. And then JFM, we're seeing a pressure from him here too. Just as a side note, obviously there's multiple things that go on in a play here, and JFM, good. I was about to say good release. It's a good rush just in terms of keeping it a little bit more tight of an angle, which holds the right tackle inside. And as he closes that ground, he stabs towards the tackle just to freeze his feet, and to hopefully get the tackle to throw his punch. Does both, keeps him locked inside a little bit, stab just to keep that distance, chop, rip. Very good rush from JFM, who obviously creates that pressure. And I don't know if Quinn Williams is gets a QB hit here in terms of the statistics, but nonetheless, again, a really good rush from a guy in JFM who in the last couple of weeks has definitely stepped up, where in the beginning of the season he was a little bit more absent. So next, we're going to go to Quincy Stuff, one of the better plays of this game, and it's also aided by his brother, Quinn Williams, who's right here as a 3 tech. But let's watch Quincy, who's right behind his brother, which is obviously, listen, when they're both dominating in a game, like could it be any cooler for that family, for both of those brothers? So hopefully the audio is coming over at least decent here. You guys might have to jack up the audio a little bit on your computer, but like I said, it is what it is. So let's watch Quincy. Again, very decisive, filling the gap. Obviously, he's noticing zone blocking. They're running mid zone, mid inside zone to the right. Quincy's on the backside in pursuit. Obviously, if it's a cutback, you're gonna hope that Carl Lawson can close ground here, or Jordan Whitehead. But again, very decisive in reading his keys, reading the offensive lineman's movement, seeing the exchange between Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones, which is obviously pretty wide. So the chance of Aaron Jones stopping and cutting back here is pretty slim. So he shoots his shot in the A gap right here. And obviously he comes in with such force and such power that even if you know these offensive linemen, for lack of a better term, try to get like an arm block on him and not necessarily having their hips under their block, he's able to power through that. And we see that a little bit right here, where he's coming with such force that the offensive lineman trying to pick him up it doesn't do anything. Basically, you know, with that arm block, again, does a good job crossing his helmet, wrapping up with that more of like that rugby style tackling, you know, crossing the helmet, scooping the legs, which is exactly what he does, driving his feet through the ground and absolutely plants Aaron Jones. Now we're going to watch it 2 more times. The other thing we're going to notice is obviously Quinn Williams feeling the zone blocking coming. He does a really good job taking on the high leg. So you have the high leg and you have the post. The post on this play wants to take him over. He wants to kind of like he wants to pop up that play side shoulder so he could overtake it. But Q does a really good job just freeing up the linebackers behind him. He's kind of splits this double team or this combo and gets hands on, not allowing him to peel off. So if he weren't to turn his body and wasn't as decisive with his feet right here, they pass this off. Bakhtiari's in front of him. 76 gets to the second level, and it's a good game. So it's a hell of a job by Q, just holding up this offensive lineman enough for Quincy to fill as well. Which again, now we're gonna watch Quincy again and just see how decisive he is and see how good of a tackle that is, how much power, how much force he comes in with. And then the thing we're going to note is we just love the energy after this. If you notice Sauce Gardner sees who makes the tackle, as soon as he sees it's Quincy, he knows the celebration's coming. He also comes in to jump in to do the celebration. You gotta love this team, man.